They say that God works in mysterious ways, and there's never been stronger evidence of that than what happened today. A movie theater ceiling collapsed during a showing of Captain America Brave New World. This could have been a tragic event with deaths, injuries, and boo-boos, but because showings for Captain America Brave New World are emptier than my ass after I go take a shit during this next cut, there was no one in the theater at the time of this happening. Well, at least no one in the danger zone, in the splash zone. There were actually 2 people in the theater when it occurred, but both were far enough away from the event to have been at risk. They were completely unharmed, luckily. Now, if this had happened at a more popular film, like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, there'd be tons of corpses. Just look at that debris there. It looks like an anvil came in there, Looney Tunes style. It is a complete ceiling collapse. When I read the headline initially, I thought it was like a roof tile fell down, and that'd be like big time ouchies if that hit you, but probably wouldn't kill you. If you were in the first 3 rows here, like if this was like a full auditorium, I have no doubt people actually would have died there. It's like I said at the beginning, the Lord works in mysterious ways. He ensured the new Captain America movie was mediocre enough so that when something like this happened, there wasn't a soul in the vicinity at risk. Save for the 2 spectators who probably got a huge jump scare from that. There's an investigation going on to try and find out what caused this. Because, again, it wasn't like, one little piece of the ceiling fell. That whole motherfucker caved in and came in like an asteroid. Like, that looks like a building imploded and then fell through. So, I don't know what could have caused that. Maybe it was put up with toothpicks and bubblegum. Couldn't tell you, but it is very lucky no one was there. If this had happened at a Joker 2 showing, we wouldn't have even known the ceiling collapsed until Joker 2 was out of theaters and they replaced it with something better, because nobody was showing up to that shit, so no one would have ever even seen that a ceiling caved in. Apparently the theater was made in 1919, so it's over 100 years old. I think those bones are starting to wear out. So I may not be part of the official investigation squad, but if I had to give it the old sniff test, the old smell test, I'd say it probably has to do with maybe not being kept up to code for a little while, and maybe there was just some shit rotten in there and finally just gave way. It said Geronimo, and it just went down. That's my guess. Again, I'm no architect. I don't build theaters. It's just, I know 100 years old, like it's only like a blink in the lifespan of an elf, but in human years, that's a long fucking time, and buildings wear out pretty substantially over that period of time. But it was remodeled in the 1970s, so it's still an old building, but it was remodeled within the last century, which is good. Now, according to one of the spectators, they heard pops and cracking, looked up, and then told the other patron, run. But, unfortunately, the other patron did not get out in time, but they were far enough back that instead of just getting clobbered by the ceiling, they instead just got, like, some debris pushed onto them. I can only imagine the confusion of all of the other theatergoers and the staff when these 2 left that auditorium looking like they just came out of an active war zone covered in dust and debris. Like, they probably thought they must have just jumped out of the Jumanji board game or some shit. That must have been so jarring. Like, if I had walked by and saw that, I don't know if I would have been able to connect the dots. I would have thought a fucking bomb went off there and I probably would have just left. And in fact, even if I did connect the dots, if my neurons were firing and I pieced the puzzle together, that the ceiling collapsed, probably still would have left because now I wouldn't trust the ceiling anymore. I do want to just briefly add how comical it is reading that this blockbuster had 2 people in attendance when something fucking crazy happened. Like, I know it's not exclusive to just Captain America not doing super well. Like, this has been happening a lot with films that are just kind of flopping and petering out really quickly. But just seeing, like, 2 people were there at the time. Like, it's kind of laughable. It'd be like, at Charles' Sweet 16 birthday party, all 3 attendees were subjected to undercooked chicken and had brief bouts of salmonella. And it's like 3 people at the Sweet 16. Well, that's kind of sad. Like, it's kind of the same way here. Like, oh, 2 people at the showing? Yikes. Whoa. But anyway, it is good news that no one was hurt here. Hopefully they can fix the ceiling and make sure every other ceiling in that building is up to snuff and won't just fucking blow up. That's really about it. See ya.